Hi guys, bit of help for day 1 and 2 of this week's homework. So we're going to be dealing mostly with fractions, decimals and percentages on this one. So mixed to top heavy. So top heavy fractions obviously just mean I don't want a whole number part in front. So the way you do this is we do multiply the whole number by the bottom of the fraction. So 2 9s are 18. You're then going to add on the top of the fraction. So 18 add 4 gets me 22 and it's out of 9. Bottom number on your fraction, so the denominator doesn't change. Okay, so 7 and 2/5, you've got 7 times by 5 is 35. Add on the 2 makes 37. Bottom number doesn't change. Okay, and it's hopefully as nice and straightforward as that. Right, if you're going back the other way, top heavy to mixed, all you are doing is you want to know how many whole numbers you've got and then what fraction you've got left. So first of all, we say, well, how many 3s can I put into 19? So I can do 6 3s. Well, 6 3s are going to give me 18. I've got 1 left over. Denominator stays as it is. Okay, same on the next one. How many 5s can I put into 24? Well, I can put 4 5s in. That would be 20. And then I've got 4 left over. So it's 4 and 4/5. Okay, if you want to add and subtract fractions, you need to make sure that the denominator, so the bottom number, is the same on both. So the way we do that is I've got 7 and 5. If you can't think of a number that they both go into, the easiest thing is just to multiply them together. So 7 times 5 is 35. So we're going to write both fractions out of 35. Okay, I will also show you the picnic table method for these, just in case that's the method you learn and you're happy to stick with that. So to get from 7 to 35, we times by 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. To get from 5 to 35, we times by 7. So 2 times 7 is 14. And then you're going to add them together. 15 add 14 is 29. You get 29 over 35. Okay, and that's it. You've added your fractions. Just to show you the picnic table, so with exactly the same question. Now, if you remember picnic table, it's where you are creating this design. Okay, and what you want to do is always start top left. So 3 times by 5 is 15. 7 times by 2 is 14. It was an addition question, so there's an add in the middle. And then the bottom number comes from the bottom 2. 7 times 5 is 35. I end up with 29 over 35. So I get the same answer both ways. It's completely up to you. This sometimes does result in you working with slightly bigger numbers. Okay, but on most occasions, it works exactly the same. For subtraction, again, same idea. We want to write them both out of the same number. So for 5 and 2, I can make them both out of 10. So on this side, we're timesing by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. On this side, we're timesing by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. And then we can subtract 8 take away 5 is 3. Bottom number now stays as a 10. Okay, you can use picnic table. Works exactly the same. The only difference would be to put a minus in the middle. But just make sure, it's very important with the subtraction ones, that if you're going to go with picnic table, that you always start top left. Okay, so every time top left to bottom right, and then bottom left to top right. Okay, so creating that cross in the middle, but it still works exactly the same. If we then look at inequality symbols, so there's often a question on the first page of the paper that asks you to put fractions, decimals, percentages, or just different numbers with inequality symbols in between. So just to make sure, the item on the closed side is smaller than the item on the open side. So this one means X is less than Y. So if X is on the open side, that's the bigger number. So X is bigger than Y. If they've got the extra line underneath, all that means is you're also including the number. So X is less than or equal to Y. And on this one, X is greater than or equal to Y. Okay, so bearing that in mind, that should help with question 4, which is your putting the symbols in. But because I've used fractions, decimals, percentages for it, we're just going to recap how we convert between the three. What you basically want to do is turn both of them into the same. Now, you can turn them both into fractions, both into decimals, or both into percentages. Percentage is usually the easiest one to deal with. There's always a little bit of a slip up sometimes with decimals, and fractions are a little bit trickier to compare. So if you want to get from a fraction to a decimal, what you want to do is be able to write the fraction out of 100. Okay, so if I want to turn that bottom number into 100, to get from 5 to 100, I'd have to multiply by 20. So I do the same to the top. 4 times 20 is 80. So this actually means 80 divided by 100, which means if you bring two decimal places in, you get 0.8 or 0.80. Those are both the same. You don't technically need the 0. Okay, and 80 out of 100, well, percentage means out of 100. So as long as you've got your fraction out of 100, whatever the top number is your percentage. Okay, so bearing that in mind, you can see to get from decimal to percentage, you've literally times by 100. If you were going back the other way, you would divide by 100. Okay, so to get from 0.24 to a percentage, I'm going to times by 100. That moves the decimal 0.2 places. I get 24%. And then from the easiest way to get your fraction is actually to go from a percentage to a fraction. Because percentage means out of 100, I literally write 24 out of 100. And unless it specifies it needs to be in its smallest form, you could just leave it as 24 over 100. If they wanted to simplify it, both numbers divide by 2, I could get 12 over 50. Both divide by 2 again, I could get 6 over 25. Okay, doesn't get any smaller than that. That's my answer. So same idea with this one. We're going backwards. So we're dividing by 100 to get from the percentage to a decimal. So 36% is 0.36. And then 36% into a fraction would be 36 over 100. And again, you can do the same as we've done before. I can divide top and bottom this time by 4 if I want to go in one jump. I get 9 over 25. And that's it. That's fractions, decimals, percentages. So for question 4, you want to make them both into the same. I'd advise making them both into either a decimal or a percentage. They're the easier ones to deal with. And then just use your inequality signs that we just talked through to decide which way around your symbol should go. Alright, and then we've got this nice problem one. Now, I pulled this off one of the recent papers we've done. So it tells you an adult ticket this time is £40, a child ticket is £20. They're going to give you 15% discount off the tickets, and there's also a 2% booking fee, which is added to the price of your ticket. Okay, so when you're adding a booking fee, they're adding that on top. We want to find the cost of 3 adults and 2 children. So first of all, if I've got the adult ticket originally at £40, I want to find the 15% discount. So 10% would be £4, 5% would be £2, and if I want 15%, I just want to add those two things together. It's £6 discount, which means an adult ticket is actually £40 minus £6. I get £34 for an adult ticket. Okay, and that's picked up 2 marks. If we then do the same thing with a child ticket, so a child ticket originally started at £20. So a 10% would be £2. Remember, you're just dividing by 10 to get 10%. And then to get 5%, we're going to half 10%. So that gives me £1. Now, if you wanted a different percentage, like for example, 35%, I've put on one of them, you just need 3 lots of 10% and a 5% and add them all up, okay? But for 15%, I just need to add these together. So 15% is £3. So you're getting a £3 discount. So a child ticket, £20 minus £3, it's costing us £17. So I've got the price of an adult ticket and the price of a child ticket. Now remember, we wanted 3 adults and 2 children. So I want 1 adult, 2 adults, 3 adults, 1 child, 2 child, and we want to add them all up. So 7, 14, 18, 22, 26, 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 13. It would come to £136 altogether. But don't forget, we want a 2% booking fee to be added. So if I've got £136, 1%, to get to 1%, I just need to divide by 100. So if I divide 136 by 100, I get £1.36 for 1% booking fee, which means 2%, I could just do another 1% and add them together. So my 2% booking fee would be £2.72. And so my total cost would be £136 for the tickets plus £2.72 for the booking fee. I get £138.72. Okay, and that's my overall answer. All right, so there's a lot of work in there, but everything in there you're capable of doing. Give it a go, guys.